Hey guys, JCB here. I would like to discuss with you on my experience with Code Vein. We go into building our character first, as we will be in control of our destiny. There are either presets or advanced settings that we can explore deeper into, finding what we want to look like in this anime inspired world. This presented me with my narrative instincts to make a character a part of the Yuga clan as we can move over to the tutorial. The tutorial gives us a basic understanding on how the mechanics work with the Soulslike controls, along with extra features that we can heavily benefit from. Learning the blood codes is essential to have the variety of different playstyles, which I feel it transforms the genre further into an action RPG with the skills in our arsenal. On top of that, we get to choose a blood vein that specializes in a certain area of combat, along with changing our mobility of which weapons we can hold onto. Magic can also be a treat along the way, with the use of a rifle to engage from a further distance, along with other techniques such as the blood drain to build up our Mia. All of these mechanics develop even further as we progress further into the story. The story starts off as we return back to life as a revenant and are guided by Io, who later becomes an attendant of ours to find our purpose in a world struck with calamity as it's filled with the lost and a red mist that's protecting the outside world. It builds this mystery, shoving us to do the work from a revenant only, to be eventually finding Louis that are studying what blood beads are, which they need as their main source of energy, as we may be the right guy he needs since we are able to restore a blood spring to produce more of them. Expect a JRPG storyline here, as it's straightforward, having one main mission to the next while being absorbed into more cutscenes to explain the events further. To make progression, we will need to go through the Soulslike terrain, crossing over from one place to the next. At first, we would have a crowbar and a few blood codes to get ourselves across, as the main idea is to carefully explore the terrain, gather whatever we can before we reach the boss area. The missile is our save point we can always go back to and level up our stats once we have gained experience by collecting haze from defeating enemies, but at the same time giving them a chance to respawn and repeat the process again. The fundamentals are there, as I had to repeat several times going back and forth until I felt comfortable enough with the items and levels that I need to advance further ahead. This is where I felt I transformed this more into an RPG experience by focusing more on the levels and mastering skills I hold to succeed, rather than painfully trying to speed things through to expect results right away. Be warned though, with over leveling makes mastering skills take forever to complete, which I felt disappointed by that decision, as it should be a reward on its own to take even more time out of our hands from defeating the enemies. Extra time does benefit consistently elsewhere, as we get to use all the materials and haze we have gathered into upgrading our equipment and buying extra items when we go to the base. This brings in further examples from an RPG perspective to make the fight go in our favor, that is based around self-preparing and analyzing our best setups to be used at that certain moment. Exploration is essential, with collecting many different rewards along our way due to the different pathways we can take on our journey. By doing this, I was able to experience one of my favorite things, which are collecting vestiges that can be used to restore memories with Io once we are back at the base. These are mainly filled with sadness hearing into their past lives, but it also helps them find resolution from knowing what happens in the end. All of them suffered with so much pain, especially with exploring my favorite memories from Davis, as his colleague Naomi had a tough decision to tell him about his loved one due to her own feelings for him. There are many characters we get to interact with throughout the story. If they tag along with us at the base, we can talk with them to build on story events on what their current thoughts are, along with exchanging valuables, which at a later point they will return the favor, which will provide us with extra haze. It shows more of the discoveries from what they liked in their past lives and gains entry to even more rewards from the points that we have received. It doesn't end there, as we can have different partners to take with us throughout our adventure. They are equipped with their own different playstyles, and later on they will have their trust placed in us to share their blood codes as we can learn their skills. In addition, there's an exclusive team skill we can use together that provides buffs, but it does cost a lot of points, so we will need to make the most out of it. They become very helpful in the most critical moments we can fall into, as they will be able to revive us and keep the fight going until the very end. Another feature we can look into is the map of the depths, which we'll need to give a map over to Davis to then tell us where it is. These are smaller linear maps compared to the main story, as it's about finding treasures such as vestiges or MJ codes that allows us to master a skill right away to speed up the process of not needing to defeat enemies. Also, skill masteries are here, which are not connected to any blood code, which we can learn right away as this shows a different method of acquiring useful skills on the fly. There are optional side quests we can do by backtracking into explored areas from other revenants that need our help. It's either a fetch quest or taking out some lost nearby that becomes a chain of events to help them reach their goal, and at times explain further info that the story doesn't go deeper into. Rewards are given as compensation for my help to get even more value out of this game. Lastly, the game has multiple endings that depends on certain requirements that involve in restoring memories from certain characters. Even though I was able to get the true ending, I had no idea this would be a thing, and luckily for me, I enjoyed completing everything I was running across too, as it shows to me that the elements away from the Souls-like experience is what I enjoyed the most. Overall, Code Vein is a great game that takes the Souls-like experience even further by implementing an array of RPG mechanics along with exploring the lore and characters we gain relationships from to reach towards a satisfying conclusion. If any of you guys have any experiences with this game, feel free to share in the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day.